We start from the UK, where government has challenged opponents to bring it down or change the law on Brexit. Leader of the House of Commons, Jacob Rees-Mogg, says political outrage over the government's parliamentary suspension is phony. Details here.
Rees-Mogg says the UK will leave the EU without an agreement on October 31st if the opposition fails to choose. He dismissed criticism of Parliament's suspension by Commons Speaker John Bercow as unconstitutional. Prime Minister Johnson's decision has sparked widespread public and political opposition. A Scottish court has begun hearing a petition filed by 70 MPs on the legality of Johnson's decision to suspend Parliament. Meanwhile, the Conservative government has lost two more important figures. The Chief Whip in the House of Lords, George Young, has quit in protest at Johnson's move. Scottish Conservative leader Ruth Davidson has also stepped down and quit politics.
It is therefore with a heavy heart that this morning I wrote to the chairman of the Scottish Conservative Party to tender my resignation. I explained the changes, both professional and personal, that have prompted this decision. You all know, and I have never sought to hide, the conflict that I have felt over Brexit. Despite that conflict, I have attempted to chart a course for our party which recognises and respects the referendum result, while seeking to maximise opportunities and mitigate risks for key Scottish businesses and sectors.
For more on this, we are joined by David Hearne, a UK-based analyst. Thank you so much, Mr. Hearne, for your time. So firstly, considering the backlash over the suspension of Parliament, what are the new options available to the government of Prime Minister Boris Johnson to avoid a constitutional crisis?
Well, I think it's fair to say that there are already a number of challenges underway to the Johnson government. There are three legal challenges that I know of going on. One, as you say, is being heard in Scotland now. There'll be a second one heard tomorrow in Northern Ireland, and a challenge in England. So in terms of Johnson's government, I think it has already sparked something of a crisis. I think MPs who oppose him will seek immediately to try and bind his room for manoeuvre as soon as they return on the 3rd of September.
Right, and David, leader of the House of Commons, Jacob Rees-Mogg, also asked his opponents to bring it down or change the law on Brexit. Can they come up with a new law with limited time available to them to debate?
Possibly. It's certainly the timing of all of this has been rendered very, very difficult indeed by Johnson's decision to prorogue Parliament, which I think, to be absolutely honest, was the intention. I suspect that he has gone into this with the express intention of doing that. Now, what the end result will be is very difficult to say, but as you allude to, ultimately it might be the case that his opponents choose to bring down the government.
And David, you know, the public has also spoken out, and there's a public petition going around that has also gained over 1 million signatures. What impact could this petition have on the current scenario?
I think that the petition will be more an expression of feeling rather than having any kind of concrete impact on its own. Certainly 1.5 million, I think that's more or less where the tally is now, signatures is a very impressive number, as it was only launched yesterday. I fully expect that number to continue to grow. There was a petition earlier this year that reached around 7 million, so they may be looking to see if they can surpass that figure. But I think that's much more an expression of feeling and an expression of the deep anger that many people feel at this decision, rather than doing anything concrete to reverse it. For that, we'll need some kind of legal intervention or something on the part of Parliament.
Right. Thank you for your time, Mr. David Hearne. That was Mr. David Hearne joining us from the UK.